Welcome, everybody. Today is June 21st, 2018. Happy summer solstice. And this is Mastermind call number 182. Tim, you want to kick us off?
I will kick us off. So Jim is off in a meeting this morning and early afternoon, so he will not be joining us today. So, Chad, you need to be practicing on the Memorial Sullivan sign-off for the end of the call. A lot of good stuff going on. I think I may have told you all last week we're trying to move into some new facilities here, and also we have all the partners in town next week. We're all getting together as we do every quarter and talk about what we're doing, what we can do better, how we can grow, and all that sort of stuff. So if you have any thoughts or ideas or things that you would like us to consider that will make your life easier, better, make it work faster, make more money, do the things you want us to do, just drop a note to support@alltheleads.com and let us know a topic that you'd like us to consider. We'd love to talk about what you want to talk about. We've got a nice agenda already laid out for ourselves, but we'd love to hear from you and love to talk with you. So please feel free to do that, and just, again, send it to support@alltheleads.com, and I'll hope to hear back from all of you.
You're going to get
Thomas?
1,500 emails today.
There we go. I can hardly wait. Tommy?
Nothing specific, just my normal is, if you all need anything, just please let us know. That's what we're here for. And as Tim said, just send an email to support@alltheleads.com. We track all those items and then assign it to the appropriate people to get back to you in a timely manner. So please reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Dang it, Tom, I was hoping to throw you off by saying it before you did. All right. Chad, do you want to say anything before we get started, or do you want to take some calls?
I think you guys are thorough. You covered it. Let's jump to the line. Oh, well, we need to announce. So last week we decided to start what we're calling Win of the Week, or WOW. So we almost daily, I'd say daily, somebody on our team speaks with a subscriber that we might not have heard from in weeks or months, and they tell it. Usually when they come back to buy additional counties, we find out how incredibly well people are doing across the country. Unfortunately, what tends to happen, people sign up, they get busy, they religiously come to this call for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they get nailed with listings and they never show up again. And we've been able to capture some of those in video case studies, but in trying to get more of that, like best practices talked about on this call versus just problems, we started Win of the Week. So we want to celebrate, those of you who have figured this out and kind of made it a pillar in your business. We want to underscore that and give you the credit you're due. So last week we had Kevin from Florida. What was Kevin's last name?
Kevin Shahan, and actually Kevin is not from Florida. Kevin is from Oklahoma.
Oh, I was thinking he was in Florida. Sorry, Kevin. So Kevin was our winner of the week last week. In his first campaign, he took down a $750,000 commercial out parcel, as well as he has a residential listing on deck from the first round of his first list. So Kevin was the win of the week last week, and we'll say the same thing this week, guys. If you want to step up and share your win, it's *6 and then 1. There's a couple of things we can do for you. We'll give you a choice. If historical, we'll give you a month of free leads in your market, like historical leads, if you haven't been with us for a while, or we can work with you on a discount on your next month of leads. It's kind of on a per case basis, whatever is most attractive to you. But so if you've got a win, jump up. Let's hear about it. We want to try to get more of that conversation happening. We do hear a lot of it, but it doesn't get recorded and archived for all of you guys. Our team hears how great everyone's doing, but you guys don't always get to. So that's kind of the goal here, and have a little bit of fun with it. So that is the win of the week. Congratulations, Kevin. And I guess we're ready to roll. Let's go to the queue.
Okay. Well, right now we only have one left in the queue, and we've had a couple of people drop off. So if you dropped off or decided that you got your question answered in some other way or whatever, that's fine. But we definitely want to hear from you. We got plenty of room, plenty of time. *6 and 1 will put you in the queue. The first person that is in the queue, ending in 9091.
Hi there. This is Michele. Hi.
Hey, Michele.
Hi. I got my first lead, but it really wasn't through the probate leads, but it was through a referral that I found from a family friend, kind of second cousin. Anyway, she had told her attorney about me, and I guess I am so brand new at this, so brand new. But I have everything set up with you guys with the leads, and you actually are going to be doing, your ISAs will be calling for me, and your mailing. We're trying to still square away the mailing part because I guess there was some issue with our post office. The people that were mailed to had to pay $3, and I got some not so happy phone calls. But what I did do is I made it right. I sent every one of those people a note, and I put a $3 bills in there for them. So I did that. And then this other referral that I received, she said she let her attorney know to contact me because they want to list it with me. But do I have to okay, this may sound like a stupid question, but do I contact the attorney and say, hey, look, they are interested in having me list it, or do I wait for the attorney to contact me?
No, I would be proactive and definitely use the legalese that you just did. Look, it is gonna, like, they're gonna be like, wait, she's serious. I'm just kidding with you, but
okay.
for sure, reach out to the attorney, and it's just going to show that you're being proactive and you're on top of it already. But reach out and say, listen, I spoke to Miss Jones. She wants to list the home, so I just wanted to introduce myself before we do the paperwork, just so I can hear, if there's anything you need to see in the listing or in the MLS remarks. I just want to make sure you're aware, and I consider you part of my team, and hopefully that's reciprocal. We have the common goal and a common client, so I just thought we should meet for a few minutes. Would it be okay if I drop by maybe after lunch today? And
okay.
try to get face to face, not just for this deal. Like, this is your chance to impress him, right, or her. So absolutely reach out and do all you can to show them that you are proactively approaching this and managing each aspect of it for his client.
Okay. And the other thing that's caveat to this is it's a very unique property because it's a floating home here. It's like a houseboat. There are two different things here, floating home and a houseboat. So I've never done one before. I mean, that is a specialty basically because you have to have special divers for inspections. But I do have somebody in my other office that is like, he's really locked up our whole area in probate, and it's going to be competition when I come in. But I thought maybe I might partner with him on 2 or 3 of the deals just so I can see how he does it. I don't know if that's a good idea, but he knows a lot of attorneys, put it that way, and they give him a lot of business here.
Yeah. Well, I think it comes down to, do you trust him, and what's his personality, what's his mindset? Like, if he has an abundance mindset, he's not going to be worried about you because he's not, well, I won't say that. He won't view you as competition. He'll see an opportunity to work with you just like your mind is looking for that opportunity. If he's the other kind of person, you'll find out real quick. But I think it's worth a discussion to say, listen, we can combine forces. I've got this full system, and you've obviously got a proven system for attorneys. What if we work together instead of against each other? And you'll know real quick which side of the fence he's on.
Okay. Yeah, he has a big team of people that work with him. So, anyways, and it's just me. So, but I'm not scared about that. I just, I've got confidence, and I'm really prepared when I do go in and talk to them. I just said I haven't really gone in to talk to attorneys about this before. So, but you got to start somewhere. So.
Yeah, well, just remember, most attorneys have only worked with agents or investors who had a pretty one-sided offer, and they just wanted paid. And the big difference in our folks, like, most attorneys are shocked to hear that a professional would do all these other things that they can't directly monetize, so they don't expect it. And just show them that your business really complements their business and supports their clients. Because very few attorneys will offer the full suite of services that we offer. I've only heard of one ever. So they can kind of get credit for that by partnering with you, and you already have all those services. So pitch it to them that way. Like, I've already done the work. Just put me on your team.
Okay. And then how do you get past the gatekeeper, though, at the office? Because there's always, the gatekeeper to just tell them I'm because I don't have the case number yet or anything like that. I just have the name.
You may take donuts and a vegetable tray, and just you decide which one's going to work.
All right.
So typically, I mean, it's actually not that hard. So you can reference, especially you've got a good practice case. So you have a live deal that they want to do business with you, and you have a legitimate reason to get past the gatekeeper, right? So I would, just go in and say, hey, listen, my name's Michele. I'm working with Jane Doe. I'm going to be listing her property, and attorney Bill Jones is assigned to the file. So I just really wanted to, 5-10 minutes, just sit down, introduce myself, and make sure that I'm doing everything to support you guys and make your jobs easier. Is Bill available? And typically that will get you through, get you past the gatekeeper. I find, like, if you go in the afternoon, you're more likely to catch them there, because a lot of court times are in the morning. So maybe go on like a Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, or you could even call ahead and say, listen, I want to talk to him about this estate. I'm looking, I wanted to get on his schedule, and maybe the paralegal or the receptionist will set up the appointment for you.
Okay. And like I said, that attorney, if the actual PR has asked me to help them list a home and they've told the attorney wouldn't try and deter him to somebody else. I don't know if they work that way, but I don't know.
No, it's kind of dependent on his ethics, but he shouldn't.
Okay. All right.
And Michele, a couple things I'll also just throw in there. One is you kind of started off by saying that, this other fellow that's in your market's got probate locked up. And I'll tell you, with your attitude and your approach to doing this, he hasn't got anything locked up. He's just somebody that you can have out there as a competitor. And your smiling face showing up to meet with these attorneys is going to go a long, long way.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
And at least Chad didn't tell you to wear a funny hat and dance your way into the office. That's usually what he says.
I think I made Marcus wear a Hawaiian shirt because he was too serious.
Yeah, you did, as a matter of fact.
Okay. All right. That'll work. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, Michele, one other thing I'll tell you. I know that, you sort of started this off by talking about you had a problem with one of your mailings, and the postage due feature is an option that we're going to add for everybody now. Since you've had such great luck with it, we think we'll just add that as a mailing option so that the mailing can go out and you'll charge them for the privilege of reading your mail. I mean, that's a very unique approach. Congratulations with that.
Yeah, it worked pretty well. I actually got my phone to ring. So
there you go.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
we've actually had the Postal Service in. We talked to them about it, and they're actually, of course, that takes a bit of time to do, but the Postal Service has assured us that they're working on it, and they'll get us an answer as to why that happened. But that's a first for us. So congratulations. It's always something new, and you gave us something new to think about. But you go get them. You're doing a great job.
All right. Thank you.
Okie doke. All righty. Let's see. The next person in the queue will be ending in 0883.
Good morning. This is Jim in Memphis.
Hey there.
Jim, where you been, man?
Working my you-know-what off. What was this? I got on late. I was talking to one that I lost just recently. Talking to a guy, but what's this about the winners thing? I missed that.
Well, tell us about the last deal you did.
Well, how about the one?
So it's we're doing a win of the week just to keep good news at the front of this call. So
okay.
anyone who has gotten a listing, bought a house, sold a house, just anything that you've achieved from our probate system, and
okay.
we will choose a winner each week and either give you a nice discount on your next month of leads or some free historical data.
Okay, well.
Are you going to throw your hat in the ring?
Oh, yeah. All
right.
This is also let people know that it doesn't always happen just right off the bat. But I've got 2 or 3 leads from working off my letters where they just call me directly. And I've got a contract closing a week from tomorrow on a $259,000 sale that the investor is going to then turn around, fix up, and we'll flip it for 4 something.
And have you already agreed to take the listing on that?
I've already got it under contract.
No. I mean, on the disposition side, has he agreed to list it with you?
Oh yes.
Okay, great.
So it's about a 650 sale there, and then I've got 1, 2, 3. We're cleaning out and doing repairs to put on the market to list. Already, I've got 1 listing currently working, and then I'm working 2 or 3 other leads that I have received from probate attorneys that I'm working with. So, and this is taking several months to get it all going, but basically I've got 6, 7, 8 deals in the works currently.
Nice.
So everybody just keep in mind that I hadn't had any leads from my letters. I got several there. I've got one of my investors calling me, so I got to get off and get to him right now. But it just takes a little time, but it'll start hitting for everybody.
Oh yeah, well, glad to hear you're doing so well. You're a good example. You still come to the calls, though. I'll give you credit for that. You've gotten really busy, and a lot of folks go through what you're going through. 6, 7 months in, they're so busy they don't take the time to do this every Thursday. So, as always, thank you for being here and participating. And I think you're a pretty good candidate for win of the week with that many deals.
Okay, sounds
Thanks,
good.
Jim.
I've got to get off and make a phone call, but I'll jump back on.
All right.
Great.
Thanks.
All right, we just got another one in the queue. That would be ending in 9945. You're on.
Hi guys, my name is Jeremy. I'm in South Florida.
Hey there. Welcome.
Yeah, so I have a question. I just wanted to know how can we, in a sense, switch up our method. So we've been doing what you guys say, like we send out the mailers, we do the follow-up calls.
Hey, Jeremy, I'm sorry, but can I ask you to speak up just a little bit, bud? We're having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, I'm just going to take off this headset. Yeah, can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so yeah, so we've been pretty much doing everything you guys have been saying with the sending out of the letters and following that up with a phone call. We have a lot of leads that we're not able to get in contact with, and I'm tracking them, but they're listing their property. So how do I go about that?
Are you leaving voicemail?
I leave 1 per month, and sometimes I have Mojo, so I'm able to dial through like a list, like every week or every single day, really.
Yeah, and that's really, that's best practice. If you're calling that frequently, you don't want to leave a voicemail every time. So they're just simply ignoring you in your market when they're going with other. So, do you guys do door knocking?
Door knocking for probate?
Well, and just in general, have you done door knocking campaigns? Like, you may. So we've had some folks in the past that have tried that when the mail wasn't working and they couldn't get them on the phones. And at this point, I would say probably the best piece we have to take would be like our trifold brochures that kind of explain it as a full service. And if they're ignoring your greeting card envelope and they're ignoring your phone call, it's because you're probably getting a lot of pressure. South Florida is really competitive, especially with investors. So you may just try something different. So drop by the houses, actually drive the houses, and drop off go. And you can go to the personal representative's mailing address, not the deceased last known address. And knock on the door. If you talk to somebody, you have the flyer. If not, it's a good leave behind. And you might test that. Just do that for a round and track your results and see. To my surprise, where the client that I was coaching, and it's been a year or so ago, but they were in Santa Clara, California. I think somewhere around the Bay Area, like a median price of $1 million, and lots of gated communities, and it was really effective for them. They showed up. They were proud of their offer. All they needed to do was get in front of them in order to impress them, but they were having trouble getting them on the phone or having them call. So he went to door knocking and immediately got results. So that might be, you could try that. Are you using our mailing service?
No, we do it manually. I do it myself, actually.
Okay. Are you using business envelopes, labels, or both?
I use labels and the business envelopes.
Okay. There's where I'll go ahead. I'll say just stop spending money on mail until you can budget and afford it, until you're comfortable. I have extensively tested it with the personal reps. Business envelopes, they look like everything else, and they usually end up in the trash. There's a reason we spent a lot of time perfecting our mail piece. So typically we'll use a pastel greeting card envelope with live first class stamp and actual handwritten font. We've gone as far as to even change the degree of angle on line 1 versus 2 and 3, so it looks like it's not perfect. That's where you see a big difference, and with direct mail, a big difference is 1 or 2%. But it's a difference between getting a response and just throwing money in the mailbox. But that's been my experience. So I would suggest you go with a more unique mail piece to make sure your mail is getting opened, and then maybe try the door knocking as another test. But this is in San Diego, Manhattan, Denver are probably the 3 most fiercely competitive markets we have ever seen, and we have folks in all 3 of those markets that our mail is working for. Now, they don't get covered up with phone calls. They might get 1 or 2%, but that's a deal or 2 or 3 a month that's coming inbound off of their letters. The phones, what I would say is, tell me about your prospecting times. When are you calling? Is it consistent or is it all over the place? Or tell me about your prospecting blocks.
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent. I get in at the office around, I'd say 9. I'll call from 9 to 12. And then later on in the afternoons and evening from maybe 5 to 7. And yep. I know 5 to 7 is the ideal time, but in the most part, I like to do it early in the morning.
Yeah. Well, those are, the times that I changed my whole business based on an MIT study. And my prospecting blocks were Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that gives you 12 hours a week of prospecting blocks. The study that they did showed that you had about 160% higher chance of conversion calling during those times. So it sounds like you're doing the right things. You didn't say which days, but if you're doing those prospecting blocks midweek, there's not a whole lot more you can do. And it sounds like your frequency is often. They're just not responding on the phones.
Yeah.
What county are you in?
Palm Beach County.
Okay. Our partner Jim, who's not here today, he's at an event down there, but he simply dropped a ringless voicemail and was able to do, I think in 6 months, 18 either listings or acquisitions. So it does work. If you want to leave voicemail more often, you might try that as well. He didn't have time to do everything the way he should have, because we were building this company. But even with just dropping voicemails once, he was able to achieve that in 6 months. And that was in Broward County, I think. He was doing Broward. But again, same level of competition that you have, and he was able to do that. So I think changing your mail piece will certainly make a difference. I think you're doing okay on the phones. Adding in a door knock, if you have somebody on your team that can get out there and do that, I think that would be a good trial for you. Definitely going to give you an edge. I highly doubt there's anyone else doing that. And see how that affects your results.
All right, sounds great. So I'll definitely incorporate that.
Yeah, the other thing I would suggest to you is the same thing that Chad did. You've been with us a while, and we're happy that you're here, and we want to make sure you rock and roll and do as well as you can. And why don't you give us a call and at least take one month and maybe consider letting us do the mail for you in a month, and kind of give you an idea of what a killer mailing piece is going to look like, and get some better open rates on those mail. on the mail that's going out, because like Chad said, as soon as you kind of talked about how you're getting them out the door, you're communicating, but that, just like anything else that comes in your inbox, you got to step back and take a look at what's going out and think, if I got that in my inbox, would I open it? And I don't know if you're like me, but if I look at it and it's got a label on it and I don't know where it came from, I don't take the trouble to open it, because it typically isn't something that I need to look at. It's always going to be something that's an ad. So you got to do something to catch their eye, and we'd be happy to work with you to do that. And if you'll give us a call, let us have the opportunity to do that. We'll work for you.
Yeah, I'll take you guys up on that. I'll talk with my broker, and I'll give you guys a call next week, the latest.
Perfect. All righty. Well, that sounds great. And again, I appreciate the diligence, and we're gonna make sure that we do everything we can to help you be successful. Okay.
Yeah, and thanks for raising your hand, Jeremy. Like it's not always easy to stand up in front of the country and say that, but we appreciate it, because now we know we need to give you some attention and help you out. So we're committed to that. So thanks for stepping up.
Thank you.
All right, bud. Thank you so much. We'll take the next caller here. That would be phone number ending in 1660.
Hello, guys. It's Lucky again here. How you doing today?
Hey, Lucky. What's up?
No, not much. I don't have a win, but I believe the first caller's name was Michele. I hope I was right. But anyway, yeah. I have a kind of a suggestion for her. I am in a highly competitive market as well with her as far as the attorneys go. They probably get hounded weekly, and most of them have landed on a certain person, may it be a realtor or an auctioneer that they like to work with. One thing that in Ohio, most estates have to go through an appraisal or evaluation for value before the estate is released or the probate is released to offer up for sale. So something that I have done, and it seems to have helped, is I figured out how to get approved to do these appraisals. In my county, it was simply fill out a form and say, hey, I've got experience, I'm valuing items and real estate, and, they wanted a resume. So I turned that in, boom, they made me a probate appraiser for my county. I don't know how it is across the other parts of the country, but for Ohio, I know that's true. And I haven't ran into a county. I work in about a 3 or 4 county area. I haven't ran into a county that has said, all right, are you certified, or do you have certain schooling. It was all about what makes you an appraiser, and I just, because I said I am, pretty much.
So it's basically the equivalent of a BPO, but specifically for probate.
Correct. So, and that gives you an opportunity. A lot of these attorneys are having a hard time finding that person that wants to do that, and the reason being is that I get a lot of phone calls from attorneys saying, hey, can you do this for a divorce? Well, 99% of the time I say no, I can't, because divorces you get subpoenaed for probate, they never subpoena. So that's one way to get in the door with your attorney. Say, hey, I'm approved by whatever county you belong to do these, appraisals. And I don't know how difficult it is in other states, but there are online courses you can take that'll pretty much grant you a certificate that you're appraised. So anyways, that was just an opinion. I also wanted to kind of, go back to the news, the last gentleman's call about the mailing. I haven't gotten much calls off the mailing either. I have noticed, though, when I switched to a flyer, it seemed to do better than when I sent a letter. And I am using you guys to send my mailings out. So, I guess my suggestion there is keep trying and switch it up if it ain't working. That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Lucky. Great ideas.
All righty. Next caller, phone number ending in 8855.
Is that me, guys? Hello?
It is. Hello.
Hi, this is Frank. Anyways, hey, this is I'm brand new to the program. Just did first round of mailings and first round of calls. But I wanted to ask, I heard a previous caller, someone mentioned, or maybe it was Chad, ringless voicemail. Is that something that we got to do who does it? Or can I get maybe some outside vendors that do that?
So there's the one that I like the best is voice casting, and that the name of the product is voice casting. Voice Logic is the parent company, and the gentleman to speak to there is Steve Lindo. He's one of the VP of sales, and he's very familiar with our business and can help you get set up.
Okay.
The reason I chose them, they are more expensive than like Sly Broadcast. However, they do deliver to cell phones and landlines with server-based voicemail. So most people don't have an answering machine anymore. So you can still deliver. My deliverability rates were almost 80% with their system versus like 40% with Sly Broadcast, which was cell phones only.
Do you have on that 80% that dropped voicemail? Do you have a stat on callbacks?
Just my own. In my market, I would drop about 100 calls, and I would average around 2% response, which was enough because the ones that responded were pretty much come list me's. Like they would, they had gotten my letter. I would reference the letter in the ringless voicemail. They would go read the letter, go check out my website, and by the time they called, they were ready to go. So I will say this: the reason I am not using that now is I became educated on the TCPA, or Telephone Consumer Protection Act.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to educate yourself on that before you use a system like this, because there is some liability. You have to make sure you're doing it the right way.
Got it. My other question's kind of dovetailing off of that, and you mentioned in that voicemail that you would reference the letter. I think it was you that in a couple calls ago mentioned it. It was when you asked about door knocking and are you bringing a brochure. Did you say that all the leads offers a template for that brochure? I think it was either a trifold or a bifold brochure.
Yeah, so if you're in Subscriber Portal, jump up to Mailing Campaign Setup. So go to Mailbox Motivator, Mailing Campaign Setup. Scroll to the bottom, and you'll see on the right, those are the brochure templates. Now, we probably have, who knows, 6 at this point. Though we just don't load everything in there we don't want to make it overwhelming. So take a look at those, get an idea of what you want, and then you can call us and speak with Alyssa, and she'll lay out whatever you need and customize it for you.
Alyssa, okay. All right. Last question, and I'll just listen in. The guy that jumped on and then he jumped back off, super busy. He's got like 5-6 listings. How long has he been with all the leads?
Well, so Jim, if you're still here, I'm going to throw you under the bus. The question is not how long he's been with us, but how long he's been using the system correctly. Jim has been with us for maybe 18 months, but he's only been using the system the right. He tried to reinvent the wheel for quite a long time, and he ate crow back in November, December, and started doing it our way, and he's had incredibly good results. And he's actually doing it in 3 different markets, like one in Texas, one in Alabama, and one in Tennessee.
When you say our way, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So he was just talking about his numbers in Memphis, but he has found referral partners that he works with in 2 other markets that he didn't mention.
Okay. Well, like I said, I just started, and the current setup I have is to do 3 mailings and then a phone call through the ISAs that you guys provide, and then I'm doing the follow-up after that with my Mojo dialer. Should I just hold that till I see some, kind of get some stats behind that, or should I switch something up that you see wrong, kind of right away?
We teach it, just a minimum of 3 letters each followed by a phone call. You never know what's going to work in which market.
Yeah.
Like that's a starting point. What I'll say is don't ever be afraid to test. Like if you're tracking things, like you can change your sequence, and whatever we experience now will be different in 6 months, and it'll be different in your market than someone else's. So it's hard to say. I mean, we tell folks, the people that do best with this tend to have a long-term mindset. Like if you were going to buy, an internet lead, you've got a 9 to 12-month cash conversion cycle. Yeah. Probate's inside of that. Like our cash conversion cycle is 3 to 6 months, but you've got to be willing to change things up and pay attention and test it. And you're and kudos to you for stepping up and saying that. But so I can't tell you the answer for sure. Try the ringless voicemail, try the brochure. Test a different letter and see what you find. I mean, so far I've never been skunked anywhere in the country. We've had trouble finding out what worked, and it might have taken us a couple months. But once we figured it out, it was consistent over time. So don't be afraid to switch things up.
Hey, Chad, Jim is back on the call. I'm going to join him in here and let him speak for himself as well.
Don't
you threw him under the bus.
Now, do I get to get back at Chad at this point, Tom?
With partners like him, who needs enemies, right, Jim?
Absolutely. But to answer Chad's question, I was started a year and a half ago, and I just did a couple months. I lost, doing something else, and I got back about 7 or 8 months ago. But it's just been about the last 3 months or so that I've been using ATL for everything, and things have really been popping. So it just
cool.
Everything works. You just got to stay with the system and Now let's see. What can I say to Chad? I guess I'll just shut up. I'm making money. That's the main part.
How about I have some ideas, Jim. You were right, Chad. Thanks for turning my business into
I'm not going to eat that much crow.
There's a reason Chad doesn't have any hair. His head gets too big and all the hair just explodes.
Oh, can I use that one, Tom? Because I don't have any hair either.
Oh, well, there you go. See? You can claim it's because you're so smart. There's just not room for it in there.
Well, I'll just say I'm wise because I'm about twice Chad's age.
All right, bud. Hey, thanks for coming back on, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. We're going to take the next one, and that would be ending in 9686.
Hi, good afternoon. I just had a couple of questions. What's your guys' idea on the use of Google Voice and, like when you're sending out letters and things like that?
I use Google Voice for all of my probate letters. A couple of reasons. One, if I miss a call back, then it gets emailed to me. If they leave a voicemail, it gets emailed and transcribed. And it also, I turn on the prompt feature. So if you go into settings in your Google Voice, you can either have a prompt or no prompt. So when my cell phone rings, it shows me their number. But when I pick up, it'll say, you have a Google call, and it gives them a chance to say their name. So that way I know, like if I'm on a mountaintop, mountain biking, and I'm all amped up, I know that I need to kind of get in that empathetic state before I answer that call. So that's how I use it. It's kind of a catch-all for missed calls and voicemail, but also it gives me a chance to make sure I'm in the right state before I jump on the phone with those people.
Do you guys recommend including a business card? And if you do, like in the letters, would you have your business card set up with that phone number on it, exclusive phone number? So in a sense, you might have two different phone calls, one for your regular business, and then one for maybe, the probate business.
Yep. I'm going to speak for myself here. I know everybody has different opinions. I consider my letter like a business card on steroids, and I send it in a greeting card envelope because that's harder to throw away. They tend to stick around. So for me, it seemed like redundancy that didn't have a lot of value. It just added more cost to my mailing campaign. However, a lot of people don't agree with me, and they do that because their hope is that, well, they'll throw the letter away, but they'll keep the card. Another option would be magnets. So we can actually do, magnets that they will stick on a fridge or filing cabinet or something. And we can do mail like that now. We have, what we call lumpy mail. So it's just widgets that you put in the envelope to make it stand out. But they're like, one is an ink pen, one is a magnet. So it's things that stick around. For me, I just sent the letter and included all my contact information in the body and in the footer. But to answer the question about the phone number, I only used a Google Voice number on anything probate related because I could always track my response rate. So, like when I was doing ringless voicemail, if I dropped 120, I didn't have to try to scroll through my cell phone to figure that out. I would go to my email and I could see exactly how many callbacks I had, and I could easily track response because the Google Voice, because they emailed me every missed call and every voicemail.
Do you actually use a handwritten font in your letter?
We do.
Okay.
Not in the letter. In the letter, we typically will do, just a regular, I don't know, if it's Arial, whatever font. You can actually choose your fonts, and then ideally we use your signature on the letter, so it looks like you signed each letter.
Mm-hmm.
But we do a script font on the addressing. And as Chad said earlier, we vary not only the spacing between the letters, but we also print it at a slight angle, and we warp it a little bit so that it absolutely looks hand addressed, and that's what gets us such great open rates.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are really helpful.
Thanks for your question.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you calling in. All right. Let's see. We have, again, 1660. You're back on.
Hey, sorry about calling back, but now that he said something about Google Voice, I hire you guys with the ISAs. Do you all just use that number, or how does that work with me hiring you all?
No. That was just in my personal campaigns. Not me. That was me with my realtor hat, not my company owner hat.
And the ISAs use a specific number when they're making the calls, that the call, if the call happened to come back or whatever, they're very careful to make sure they do that, but they're not using that specific thing. Now they can, and they can put out whatever information that you want. Prior to setting up the ISA calls, you have the opportunity to do a bit of customization in regard to what they're saying and what they're doing to try and get this done for you. So, there's that kind of personalization on the ISA calls.
Right, and the default, Lucky, is to pull a phone number in your area code, and that number stays open for 48 hours to catch the callbacks during your campaign.
Gotcha. That's all I had.
All right, bud. Hey, folks, we've got about 15 minutes left. We don't have anybody in the queue right now, and we don't want to keep you here and just make you listen to Chad and I go back and forth insulting each other. But if you'd like to ask a question, if you'd like to comment, if you'd like to get some great advice, Chad's on fire today and doing a great job, and didn't take much begging to get some more people in here. Hold on a second. All right. Let's see. 8797, Dwayne.
Well, it's actually Ellen.
Oh, well, hey, Ellen.
Hi. Hey, guys. This is a weird question. Chad, I need you to put your investor hat on.
Okay.
I'm trying to help a personal representative, and the estate is a complete mess. There's probably not any property for me to list here, but I'm trying to help the personal representative find assets. The decedent died at 43 unexpectedly, and it seems to me, going through his paperwork, that he is a private lender. So I'm trying to find how to look up liens that he may own as assets to the estate, and title is not able to help me. Do you have any ideas about how I could possibly skip trace private mortgage liens on properties?
So was he writing them in his personal name or a business name?
Well, he just did a DBA, right before he died, so I'm assuming he did a DBA for this purpose. But up until then, the couple of properties I have found where he's loaned money to investors, he did it in his personal name.
Okay. And I assume, has the family gone through his file cabinet?
It's a mess. His one of the relatives, who is not an heir, stole all the money after he died. She left the body in the room and went through his cabinet, got all of his passwords, transferred all the money out of the estate into her personal name, even added herself as a beneficiary on his retirement account. And this all happened after he died. So all the assets.
Is she in jail yet?
I'm sorry?
Is she in jail yet?
Well, they're looking for her. But I'm hoping that I can, because it's really a sad situation. There's a 16-year-old.
So you think maybe she was smart enough to destroy those documents? That's why they don't know?
Yes.
Okay. Do they know any of the investors, any of the mortgagees?
No, that's the problem. The personal representative.
So you know there's outstanding loans, but you don't know who owes.
Exactly. So is there some kind of website or something? I imagine if you take out a mortgage, a second mortgage or a third mortgage, and you owe money, and the person you owe money to dies, that doesn't remove the lien. And the only other option I can see is we have to wait till some of these mortgagees go to sell, and then title will stop the sale until that lien is released. But that could be 10 years from now.
Right. Well, typically they're going to be short-term loans. Like most private lenders, the longest one I've ever done was a 5-year note. In that case, you should see checks coming in because if sorry, we've got a feedback loop. Tim, are you on speaker?
Yeah, but I'm not hearing anything.
Huh. Okay.
Ellen, can you hear us okay?
I can, but I am hearing and now I have a
So, but typically it's going to be a short-term loan that's interest-only payments. So one of the easy ways to do it would be watch his mailbox. So when checks show up, you'll be able to trace that back to the investor, and let them know that what has happened, and that the note will be assigned when the estate's settled. If they're not making monthly payments, then that plan won't really work. The other thing, I can probably help you out. We have access to a system where we can search lenders nationwide. So I could look at every county in the country, go through tax records, and look for that private lender. The challenge there would be knowing exactly how he wrote the loan. So if the mortgagor name was the same each time, like if it were John Doe, or you said he did a DBA, so some of his notes might have been John Doe, and some may be, JD LLC. We would have to know what the note, what the lender's actual name on the deed, on the first deed of trust was, in order to search that. Another idea would be if there's anyone who's in his family that knew who he used for a real estate attorney, it's unlikely that he had more than one attorney writing notes. Typically, the lender will choose the attorney, and that's the attorney that prepares the note and first deed of trust.
the challenge with that is this guy thought he was a lot smarter than he was, and he was himself a realtor and an appraiser. So I've got a ton of checks that are appraisal checks, so I can't tell the difference between what he's getting paid for. Well, I guess I can, because, never mind, that was a stupid statement, and I'm not going to embarrass myself on this phone.
Well, if any of the checks have an address on them, then you can grab in the memo. Like when people pay me, they'll put like mortgage payment 123 Walnut Street, and like I can, like, if you're lucky enough to have that in the memo, then you can take that and go to the county tax, go to the records room, and pull that note and see, you know, who the attorney was that actually recorded the deed and the first deed of trust. And then go to that attorney. More likely than not, he was using one attorney to write all the notes, and that attorney will have record.
We don't use attorneys in California.
What?
We use title or we use escrow, but
right.
You know.
But the title company, like a title rep, can't write a first deed of trust, and they have to have an attorney on retainer that's writing that. So it's going to be recorded in that attorney's name. Whoever authored the note and first deed of trust will probably be the same person that he's used over and over. Because once you build that once you build the relationship and they become familiar.
I have the deed on.
What's that?
For the note. Okay. And that'll.
Yeah. So if you get an address, pull the note, find out who the attorney is. The attorney will probably have records of all the other notes that he's written for that that he had written for that person. If you keep hitting dead ends, let me know. It's not really a simple process, but we have a database that we can ping to see if we can come up with anything.
I think that last is genius. I can make that happen. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
All righty. Let me take one last round here. We've got a couple more minutes. We usually cut it off at 2 o'clock. I'm going to give you one last shot. If anybody wants to take one more round of questions, *6 and 1, and we'll pop you in the queue. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day, and I'll give Chad this opportunity to be practicing his goodbye speech. It's been a great call today, a lot of great questions, and I don't think we have to do much huddling. We have one good win to share, which was good, and we'll get back with you. Somebody jumped in as the last call. All right, well, we'll take that. Last caller for the day will be call ending in 6878. You're up.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yes, my question for today is that, lately, I'm from South Florida. My name is Jimmy, and I've been trying to get in contact with attorneys, like far as setting up appointments, but I just haven't been getting any success. Any suggestion on what should I start doing or anything like that?
So how are you attempting? By phone?
Contact by phone.
Yeah, so what we found on the phones, it's damn near impossible for you to get very far. Our ISA center, we take a third-party approach, and we basically call on your behalf, and we find it much easier to get through the gatekeeper that way. So the only way that I've seen it be effective on the phones is using our ISA center. And Jim, if you're still on the phone, I had to eat crow on that, so we're even. But the by far the most effective way to meet with the attorneys is to go meet with the attorney. So there's a really good app called Route 4 Me. So Route the number 4 Me, and I think it might be $5 or something. There's probably many others, but that's the one I use. So you can load in like 20 addresses, and it will show you on Google Maps with traffic what the most efficient route is. So if you load 10 attorneys in there and just take off on a couple afternoons a week, show up, say, listen, I'm built a team of people here locally to help families in probate, and I've noticed Attorney John Doe has several cases each month, and I just wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know I'm here and see if there's any way that we might be able to complement each other's businesses. Typically they'll say, well, okay, you got 5 minutes. And an hour and a half later, you'll be sitting there with an attorney that just can't believe you're offering what you're offering. That's what we've seen. across the country, regardless of how big or competitive markets are, most people aren't stepping out of their comfort zone to go put themselves in front of the attorney so they actually listen to you. I've coached, dozens and dozens of people through this exercise, and everyone that's left their office has immediately gotten relationships and referrals.
Okay, does that help you out there, bud?
That actually helped me out. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good way for us to end, and we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate everybody who's called in this time, and a lot of great information, a lot of good calls. Chad, are you ready to do it?
Well, I like to finish up every week by saying take something you heard here, something that inspired you, something that excited you, one idea, and put it into action, and come back here next week to share your success with us. Thanks a lot, and make it a great day. Yes.
Well, that was pretty good. Just one minor slip-up, but it was a good job.
All right,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.
Thanks so much for being here.